So I just want to share some information with you about the business card design. If we go back over everything we've done this term, we've created quite a lot of design work. We've all created a logo. You have created a social media campaign banner or advertisement. And now we need to do a business card. Now a business card is quite a simple piece of stationery, and it has a lot of conventions that are already set. And that's why it's quite okay to simply use a template here. All of these templates are Photoshop templates, and Photoshop's a nice easy interface to do this type of work in. So before we open these, I'll just draw your attention to before we open these files, I'll just draw your attention to some very important information. First of all, the front of the card is where you'll be stating your name and your position in the company, and there needs to be more text on that side than on the other side. You will have to change the colors. Our company colors are black, white and grey, and our company font is Myriad Pro, as you know. And further than that, our font is uppercase. So make sure that you are using that, especially where you're referring to wet paint media. Do not use any other colors other than for the picture on the back of the card. It's very important that you keep our branding consistent, because that's how we identify ourselves in the public. For the back of the business card, you can be as creative as you like. If you are going to use our slogan, "Make yourself known," then of course that needs to be quite clear. If you're going to use our logo, that must be clear, but anything else you can be as creative as you like, and hopefully that will draw clients into our business. So I'm going to open the card front example in Photoshop, and I'll show you what to do with it. So here we have the front of the card, and it doesn't matter if it's front or back. This is obviously the side that has the less amount of text on it. So you'll need to make sure you can see your layers, as I can do so here. And if we start to simply turn on and off these sections, then we're getting a working platform here. I could simply go into my logo, and here it is in my downloads, drag and drop it straight on top, and hold down the shift key to rescale it. I could set it right in the middle if I wanted to, using the guides. Click on the tick, and it's hard to see, so we need to obviously invert the image. So we go Image Adjustments, Invert, and now our black logo has become white. So that's not bad, but it's not entirely creative either. It would be good if I was able to turn off the background and find a better, more creative background to work with here. So, and that's something also that you could create yourself if you had the time or the creativity. So I'm just going to turn back on that background for now, and it would be good if I had a bit of text here. So I'm going to isolate my logo, hold down the shift key to rescale it, tick. And now if I get my text tool, which is over here on the left with the T, I know I need to be using Myriad Pro. And it can be a bit boring using the same fonts all the time, but it's important that we keep our branding consistent. So there's Myriad Web Pro, Pro Bold we'll use this time, and the text is black, so we're going to make the text white, and I'm going to drag the slider back so that we get a smaller cursor. And now I'm going to go, again, all caps, make yourself known. And what I might do here is actually play with some of these letters. So I'm selecting the first two words, and I'm going to make them more of a grey, so the word known stands out. And I'll click on the tick to save that. Now that I've created my text, I can align it wherever I want. Make sure you're always giving yourself a little bit of white space, because if you cram your logo and your text up against edges, that might look good on a screen, but when it comes to printing it, they might be chopped off by the printer. And that's where understanding bleed and margins becomes important. So I also think it's quite good to let your design work breathe and to leave white space around it. So it might be good to perhaps put something else in this space, but for now that's something that you could work on as a design for the front of this business card. So I'm now going to go File, Save As, and I'll call it Front Final, and I'll just save it to my desktop. So this is the file that you'll be uploading to Moodle. Now let's play with the back of this card. So I'm going to double click to open this file up, and you can see here there's a lot more that we have to do. There's a lot more layers. What I like to do first of all is just to kind of click and start turning things on and off to get a sense on how the card has been designed. I quite like the text. I'm not a fan of the background, so what I might even do here is turn that background off, go back over to this card, expand, and we'll choose that texture, and I'm going to go Control C. I'm going to jump over to my other card and create a new layer. On my layer, Control V, I'm now going to drag that under everything, and I might just try to zoom in and manipulate some of this myself. So if I expand the text, you can see we've got main text, which is the title part there, and the subtext, which is the address details down the bottom. So what we can now do is go through and use our text tool, double click, and this is where your name would go. Now obviously we need to change our font color, so it's very important that your name is prominent. I would go with a nice white font there, and it will need to be Myriad Pro Regular. Maybe your surname could be in capitals. Going down into here, you are a graphic designer, or you can give yourself another title. Text is a bit hard to read, so we might lighten the grey, make it a bit more visible. It's also got a drop shadow on it. You can see this little FX here. So if we hit that down arrow, that will reveal that there is a drop shadow, and we might just turn that off. I think that text is a bit too close, so I might go into my pointer tool and just shuffle it down a bit too. Now for the next section of text, we've got here dots and text for our company information. So you can go ahead and just use the text tool to simply go in, double click, and change text and replace it. If you prefer, you can also delete that and just go from scratch yourself. So that's how you can create your own business cards using existing templates. Make sure that you save them as Photoshop files, because I will need to see your layers and need to see how you've modified these templates to make them your own. Once they're done, upload them to Moodle, enter the basic summary of what you've done, and that will complete one of the last parts of your practical work for term 3.